Hmm. Oh, my head. Man. Ooh, my head hurts. So much. Ah. Well, let me turn on one of the light. Okay. Now it's a little bit more balanced with the fill like and everything. So. yeah. Great. Hello there everyone! My name is Kirivaku and I'm your host and your boy with a voice here to entertain you and may or may not. I have no idea the fuck I'm doing. Ooh. At this point I'm just like a very tired old man. Not exactly wrong. I'm just like a very tired uncle at this point.
This alphabet influencer.
I feel like something wrong with my speakers. I don't remember like my speakers sound that.
Just destroyed his life as he's now facing decades in prison, all while being a guru and essentially telling people how to live life.
Guys.
Eh.
So far away, Eric, what is your favourite actor to have played Superman?
Christopher Reeve.
Of course, the original. Superman is a character defined by the fact that, for all intents and purposes, he is a god in human form. And it's for this reason that the first actor to physically play Superman on screen didn't think that he was the man for the job, something DC Comics disagreed with when they saw his thighs. So I guess first things first, Faraway Eric, you are a new addition to the channel, but I've worked with you for the past couple of months, yes? So for everyone at home who's kind of like, who's this Eric dude, would you like to tell them who you are?
I am Eric Malachite. I'm a published author, video editor, and I'm the production manager at Top Tens LLC. So I'm currently managing all three channels, Top Tens, Biographics, and Geographics. Yes. And I work with Carl on pretty much a daily basis now.
Yes, so if anyone who's not checked out those channels, you should, because I'm the interim host over there. And I've been working with Eric for the last couple of months on that. So I thought, I'll bring you over to my channel. You put me on all yours for the past 3 months. You should come to mine.
And I appreciate it. This is really cool. I've been a fan of Fact Fiend since 2018.
Which is so weird. I was just telling you a story before we started recording of, like, I frequently encounter people who are fans of the channel. And the weirdest story for me is a very, very good friend of mine who I briefly dated, who was in her house with her boyfriend and just... she heard my voice coming from the other room. She's like, what? And she walked through and her boyfriend was watching one of my videos.
In recent years, the video game industry has convinced itself of a few truths, and I'm using that word loosely. Those heavy scare quote truths are: single-player games are risky, new IPs don't sell, reviving old franchises can't possibly make a profit, and if your game isn't open world, if it isn't live service, if it doesn't have a battle pass, or all three, what are you even doing? But Capcom, just sitting in the corner losing its religion, is quietly gone,
Don't do anything stupid.
Me? Never.
and man, is it working out for them. Capcom is having a 2026 that frankly no other developer can even imagine having at this point. They're a AAA developer who has released 3 games in the first 4 months of the year, and all of them are hits. Hi folks, it's Falcon. Join the 1% Club and get all the unhinged stuff weekly. Today on Game Ranks, how Capcom did the impossible. I think that there is a pretty clear problem with the video game industry in recent years. And if you wanted to oversimplify, you could say live service. That's more of the problem than I think any other component, but it's not quite it. In said recent years, developers have kind of done 2 things specifically that I want to talk about. Firstly, they've been playing it safe in a way that is not safe in any way. It's an extremely counterintuitive thing to say, and I'll get into that in a second. But secondly, rather than making games, they've been making platforms. So, the safe part. This, ironically, means taking massive business risks. Every game's got to be bigger, longer, more cinematic, and it has to go on forever. So because these are massive business risks, the actual content of the games is trending towards bland. I'm not saying that sanding some of the rough edges off something is the worst thing in the world. Streamlining a game can be great. That's not what I'm really talking about here, though. Here, safe means trying to appeal to the broadest amount of people possible, which, when you're talking about making toilet paper, probably a good idea. When you're talking about making art, though, it's the worst idea, and as we know, video games are an art form. Art is subjective. Art is the expression of perspective and experience, and those that relate to it have expression and experience. And when you try to flatten that, to broaden it, you don't actually make it so more people relate to it and like it. The best you can really do is make it so that it offends less people. That is to say, it's harder to make everyone like something, and playing it safe in this respect is really doing everything possible to make it so more people don't dislike it. So when you have an interesting idea, it's run through the who's gonna dislike this filter, and that's going to leave a lot of those ideas on the floor. A lot of money is at stake, so of course we don't want people to dislike it. Interestingly enough, this seems to make everybody dislike it. The second problem, trying to make everything a platform. I mentioned that live service is probably the biggest problem, but we've talked so much about that, I'm trying to break it down into smaller chunks. Platforms tend to be live services because the games tend to need to be around forever and a day. They exist for people to exist in, to do things in, to make content in. A lot of them exist for streamers to play and generate stuff happening. A lot of it exists for people to role play in. And to some extent, these aren't necessarily bad things. And certain games do this stuff well. I've said it many times, there are live service games I don't hate. There are large open world games I don't hate. There are forever games I don't hate. They are not the majority of that type of game, though. So when I say this is a problem, understand I mean it's generally a problem. And going with point 1, for that to generally be a problem, it's not good if you're going for a general audience. And then, of course, all of the live service shit, all of the bloated open world shit, blah, blah, blah. All of that stuff, it still applies here. Enter Capcom. Their release schedule has gone like this. On February 27th, they released Resident Evil Requiem, sold 5 million copies in 5 days and an additional million in the next week. That is the most recent numbers we have. On March 13th, they released Monster Hunter Stories Twisted Reflection, which we do not have an actual announcement in terms of sales, but using Steam data, they have likely sold between 1 and 2 million on Steam alone. And then the most recent and probably the most surprising for a lot of people is Pragmata. This game came out April 17th and sold 1 million copies in 2 days. This is an entirely new IP that from the outside is near not understandable. You're a Dead Space looking guy and you're carrying around a little Mega Man looking girl, and you engage in puzzle combat. Granted, this is not how I would personally describe the game to you, having played it a lot at this point. But compared to things that other companies are releasing, that's a frickin' gamble. Or is it? Late 2025, we started the Game Ranks 1% Club, which is our member program that gets you the Falcon Show, which is basically a secret podcast that goes up every Saturday. It's me, Eric, and Kevin. We have a whole hell of a lot of fun making it. And I'm tooting our horn a little bit on that because the whole point was that we love single-player gaming. We think a lot of the gaming industry acts like single-player gamers are only 1% of the player base in the world, and they're wrong. Only a few episodes in, a big study came out demonstrating that the majority of people who play video games prefer single-player games. This was a study with an absolutely massive sample size of 34,000 players across 22 different countries by Ampere analysis, and it essentially validated the whole point of starting the 1% Club. We were right, and Capcom just keeps on proving us right. But here's the thing. What Capcom is doing is not magic, it's not luck, they did not stumble into 3 hits in a row by accident. In fact, they have acted extremely deliberately to create a situation in which they are releasing games like this and they just do well. 7 years ago, we made a video about Capcom turning it around because before that, they were in a hell of a slump. And not just a slump in terms of their games weren't as good, their profits were down 90% at one point. Like, do you remember early 2010s Capcom? Resident Evil 6, Umbrella Corps, Street Fighter V launching with basically nothing in it. It was a time where Capcom went from one of the most respected developers in the industry to just putting out mid-game after mid-game. In some cases, just god-awful games in terms of Umbrella Corps. What a black stain that one is. But something changed pretty significantly around 2017. Resident Evil 7 was the marker for that change, but the internal changes had started much earlier with the development of Resident Evil 7. See, that was the beginning of the Resident Evil engine. And a team was working parallel to the Resident Evil 7 team, making the Resident Evil 2 remake. On top of that, they started stacking other wins with Monster Hunter World, Devil May Cry 5, and things turned around. And it's all because of a strategy that on its face barely sounds like a strategy. I would say it only counts as a strategy because so many other companies are just not doing it, and that strategy is Capcom is making good games. You can name any of their releases in recent years, including the ones that people don't absolutely love, like the most recent Monster Hunter Open World, and it's still miles ahead of everybody else in that they have just focused on making a good game. And making a good game can mean a lot of different things, but it doesn't automatically mean a long game, or a big game, or a huge investment, or something absolutely no one could dislike. Capcom's weird. They have specific ideas and they execute on those ideas as specifically as is possible. To some extent, I don't even think that it would be difficult to find people who just outwardly dislike Capcom games because of how they are. But that's also why people like them. You can't please everybody, but if you've made games that you like in the past and those games have found an audience, you can please that audience by continuing to make the games that you clearly like to make. And the trick is to just keep making those games, trying to make them better, not trying to blow them out of proportion, though. If anything, Capcom's scope control is perhaps one of their biggest assets. They don't make 100-hour games, generally. When they do make games that have long run times, there's a reason for it, and it's not just for the sake of doing it. But generally, their games are between 10 and 30 hours. On top of that, in their understanding of keeping to a scope, they do something else that maybe sounds a little controversial if you don't think about it for more than 2 seconds, but they reuse stuff. Assets, systems, animations, tech. Hell, everything they do is on the Resident Evil engine. Most of their games are not Resident Evil at this point. 2 out of the 3 that made us feel like we needed to make this video are not Resident Evil games. But they build that stuff and they keep using that stuff. There is a bit of a stigma around asset reuse. Some people hear that and immediately think lazy, but I mean, there is a lazy way to do that. This isn't that, though. Capcom is building a library. They're never really making one game at a time. They're continually expanding the foundation of games they can make. For instance, in the early part of Resident Evil Requiem, there is this insanely detailed urban area, some alleys that you walk through, and we could not help remark about that when we played the game. Kevin on the show actually had a really good point.
You know, I look at all of this and all I think about is why did they create all this? Like, what are they going to reuse this all
It's
in?
literally just to, like, shove it in your face that they're really good at what they do.
Yeah, but also, what are they going to reuse it in?
I
That's a good
hope
question.
something, because
I hope
it's
something,
beautiful,
too.
honestly.
Yeah, but I'm just like, what? Because
I mean, it's ugly as shit, but, like, it's
yes,
it's
it looks great.
amazing. And sure enough, when we went back and played Pragmata, that came to fruition. There are definitely assets from that little stretch of urban area that are in the New York in Pragmata. Not really New York, the 3D printed New York on the moon.
Oh,
Remember? Do you remember as we were walking towards the hotel in Resident Evil 9?
Yes.
And it was said, but what are they going to reuse all of this for? It just occurred to me, we're walking through the city.
We are.
And a lot of this stuff looks a little familiar to me.
It does.
Compare that to basically every other AAA project right now. Pretty much every project feels like it's starting from zero, trying to reinvent absolutely everything, and a lot of the time, not quite getting there. Part of that is how long between games a lot of developers spend in development. They put out a game once a generation, and then essentially have to start working on the next generation's version of that game. Again, this isn't bad absolutely 100% of the time. I'm sure Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be a frickin' masterpiece, but not everybody can operate at the pace Rockstar operates, and yet a lot of them do. Skyrim came out in 2011. Fallout 4 came out in 2015. And Starfield, well, it doesn't matter at all.
Stop! He's already dead.
The stuff that matters coming from Bethesda is the Elder Scrolls and Fallout, and man, is it gonna be a long time before we see any more of either. It would be weird if they reused assets from a literal generation ago, but again, that's not how Capcom rolls. Capcom is always making new stuff, implemented by reusing what they can from old stuff, repurposing it, obviously making little changes. While I can definitely tell you those air ducts and fans in the 3D printed New York and Pragmata are reused from that alley in Resident Evil Requiem, they don't look the same. That 3D printed New York doesn't look like anything else I've ever seen, despite the reused assets. But there's nothing new under the sun. Everything comes from something else. Capcom has embraced this, and it has absolutely enhanced what they do. Capcom is not betting it all on any single game. They're betting on being a good game company, which means having a release schedule, putting stuff out regularly, iterating, enhancing, improving their craft, and they gotta be like the only AAA that operates like this. It probably helps that they publish their own games, so they're not sharing their revenue with other people, but still, if there's a AAA developer out there that acts like an indie or a AA, it's Capcom. Now, the irony of this is that it's not really impossible. What they're doing isn't actually that shocking when you think about what the games market is. The thing is, good stuff stands out now more than ever because in the 13,000 plus games that are released every year, a very small number of good games get released every year. As the barrier for entry into the game industry lowers, and it should, to be clear, people with less experience and longer to go between being an amateur and a master craftsman, so to speak, those people can publish games. And in all honesty, they should publish games. I am not going to play all of them, but that's how you get good, by doing the thing. And while Capcom did lose their way for a while, how they got their groove back was by re-embracing that mentality. We've done this for a long time. We've built experience. We understand what makes a good game. Why are we pursuing all of these dumb industry trends that contradict our experience as game developers? Let's not do that. Let's not chase an audience that's been made up on investor calls and PowerPoint presentations. Something people in suits literally just came up with. Let's instead do what we do well. And surprise, surprise, that works. Make games for people who play games, the majority of which want single-player games. The trick is you have to make a new game pretty much all the time, but it seems like the model of making one game that lasts forever and putting thousands of workers on it is proving not to be the greatest model of all time, pointing at Fortnite and their 1,000 layoffs. What's actually risky? Making a focused, well-designed game that people can enjoy from start to finish, or spending hundreds of millions of dollars trying to build the next forever game that has nothing you could ever hate? How did Capcom do the impossible? Well, they just don't live in a bizarro world where they think the thing that works doesn't work. God, that is a depressing answer to that question. But seriously, all these other developers that are spending literally hundreds of millions of dollars on games that are dull and boring, is that not what they're doing? There's a reason indies and AA's are being looked at so favorably now. It's because they make games. Capcom's a AAA that's basically doing that. They don't have to invest a decent fraction of $1 billion into a game to make a really good game. And here's the kicker, neither does anyone else. Game development is getting cheaper by the day, unless you think that a game has to be everything. I don't, most gamers don't, and Capcom doesn't either. Yes, it takes effort. Yes, it takes experience. Yes, it means understanding that there is another project looming on the horizon after this one is done, but you cannot argue with results. Folks, this is what the future of gaming could look like if everybody learns the lesson that Capcom has learned over the past 15 years. Yea, they walked through the valley of the shadow of death, but they came back. Calling them the most successful video game company of 2026 so far is hardly a stretch. I don't know if they've made the most money. They certainly haven't made all of the money, as all of these executives who send their workers to the live service mines seem to think is necessary. But in terms of return on investment, there's no chance they have not done the best. And on top of that, they are beloved for doing what they're doing. Does everybody like it? No. There are people who just outwardly dislike Capcom games. They exist. They're actually not even that hard to find, but also they're a necessary thing to make something that is not only not bad, but is
like anyone who's trying to like get low to me, I was a little bit too gosh dang focused on this.
If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, that's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week. Best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription, so click subscribe. Don't forget to enable notifications and add.
Well, I would say Capcom is doing kind of good, but they are a little bit rushing because of like stockholder stuff. The stupid promise of like every year on the biggest earnings call, they will like announce like a profit of like 100% extra than last time. So basically, they just keep promising that we will do like a double profit every single earnings call. So this is why like the Monster Hunters is like a little bit rushed for that particular reasons, and then it's like really buggy for that. The only like one stupid thing they kind of did is just that. The rest of the things like they went pretty hard like on Capcom side. To be honest, like Capcom is almost like the only game company sort of like exists that actually is successful. And I realized that why my vertical side is like so silenced. It was unlisted, not like public at all. Yeah, didn't notice about that one. Yeah, they set that one up though. Either way, hello there everyone, my name is Kirivako and I'm your host and your boy with the voice here to entertain you and may or may not have no idea what the heck I'm doing. Yeah, like I start my stream like really late. Cause I was like rendering video and stuff. It actually took like way longer time than I think. Usually when it comes to like girl side of shoulders, it's supposed to be like around half of the head. It's been like a really long time I kind of like didn't do this kind of things.
Live service games, microtransactions, free to play. It's stuff we've complained about often on this channel, we'll admit, but today we're talking about some games that maybe started off reasonable but have kind of devolved into a microtransaction hellscape. Some of these games are games that you might actually be a fan of, but today we just kind of want to air our grievances with them. So we got 10 examples. Let's get started off with number 10. As longtime Bungie fans, it's been frustrating to watch their slow metamorphosis from one of the best and most respected game developers to whatever they got going on with this now. Destiny 2 is in many ways a microcosm of that change. Sure, there were microtransaction controversies right from the start, completely, but it's gotten so much worse in the past few years. It's almost unrecognizable as the same game for some people. I mean, in many ways, it literally isn't, because a lot of that stuff that originally made Destiny 2 what it was, you know, like the entire Red War storyline, all that is gone. It's been removed from the game entirely, and now a lot of that content that was originally part of the game, including stuff like the first 3 expansions, stuff that people actually, you know, paid for, has been removed and is slowly being drip-fed back to players to kind of purchase all over again, only this time they're charging for every little thing and making it more expensive. Compared to the whole Bright Engrams controversy back when the game first came out and, you know, the original version of the Eververse store, what we're getting now is much worse. On top of the paid expansion packs, which are required to keep playing the game, and seasons, which Bungie, of course, raised the price on without warning and without making any significant changes to the amount of content you're getting with each one. Then there's also some absurdly overpriced cosmetics now that don't even bother trying to fit in with like the theme or the lore of the game. At least the old paid armors and stuff kind of actually tried to fit in the world of Destiny 2. Now they're just falling into the same desperate pit as every other microtransaction heavy game and just going all in on cross promotions with stuff like Ghostbusters and Star Wars. One of the upcoming expansion packs is going to be just straight up Star Wars themed. Any coherent vision for the game has been sacrificed to blatant and desperate attempts at just marketing stuff. They're filling the game with stuff that I think a lot of players don't want, and especially don't want to pay for. It's tragic because the game is kind of on the upswing technically, but it's not bad, but these increasingly transparent attempts to make every last cent, every last dime from the player base is just making it harder and harder to like Destiny 2. Next at number 9, back when it was released, Infinity Nikki got a lot of positive reactions and goodwill from gamers, the gaming world, the gaming press, whatever. The monetization was far from the best in the game. I mean, this is still a free-to-play game from Asian territories, like action-adventure thing. Exploitative is the baseline here, but as far as these games go, there wasn't anything overly egregious right at the start. Things seemed to be trucking along smoothly, at least for a little while, and then the disastrous 1.5 patch dropped, and it seems like that's when everybody turned on the game. It's rare to see sentiment around a game swing this hard because of one simple patch, but it's one of the examples where they did it. They screwed up here. There are problems from top to bottom, like the original opening area was completely removed and replaced with this extremely basic, almost condescendingly simple starting area. The story was changed in a way that most fans did not like, and then yes, of course, the monetization got a whole lot worse. A lot of this is going to sound like total gibberish if you're not deeply ingrained in gacha games, but one of the core problems fans had with the update was that they added in 2 new 5-star banners, which instead of being the usual 10 parts or less, they both had 11 parts. So the bigger the outfits that you want to unlock, the more gacha pulls you have to make to be able to complete them. And while the game does have the usual pity system seen in other games like this type, like, you know, Genshin Impact, completing a single outfit was already expensive, but that bump in the amount of pieces needed to complete the outfit made the final cost even worse. Basically, it takes like 20 pulls to just get a single 5-star costume piece. That's when the pity mechanic kicks in and the game just gives you a freebie. But the chances of getting these things are so low normally that it's basically required. It's extremely unlikely that you'll get any 5-star pieces from just a regular roll. So if you want to get just one of these costumes, it was going to take up to 220 rolls. And if you want both costumes, then it's 440 rolls. This is a game all about playing dress up. People like this, you know? And you know, it's filled with players who are not just willing, but happy to engage in this type of stuff for costume parts, but even they think this whole thing is going too far. Throw in a lot of worthless microtransactions like decorations that you can't really do anything with because there's no housing system, along with the extremely messy, like, come on, 90% discounts flashing listed everywhere where they mark something up for like $1,000 and say it's 99% discount, like they're giving you a huge saving, even though it's just on like the most worthless junk. Just makes the game look kind of trashy with how hard they're pushing players to spend money. It seems like a game that's tanked its reputation quite a bit simply because the developers got a little too greedy here. Next at number 8, as one of the longest running MMOs out there, RuneScape has changed significantly since it originally launched way back in January of 2001. I remember playing that at the library and having the time of my life. Now, the world of RuneScape has always kind of dipped its toe into monetization. I mean, the developers have to pay the bills somehow, but originally it was just a $5 subscription. Then came the in-game store, the bumps to subscription prices, the addition of premium skill tools that make it easier to grind, and then the list goes on and on. Players were getting more and more fed up with the real money shop crap on top of subscriptions, but the thing that really got the player base fuming was the addition of a battle pass on top of all that other stuff. This RuneScape 3 player backlash got Jagex to remove the hero pass, but that didn't stop them from continuously raising subscription prices and offering increasingly expensive and overpowered items in exchange for real money. The situation with the game got so bad that just recently, in 2025, the studio put out a message saying that they were looking into overhauling the entire microtransaction system in the game. It's a bold statement if their intentions are true, but many players remain skeptical. We've all heard this stuff before from Jagex. They put out these types of feel-good, we hear you messages, and then not a lot comes from it, you know? Maybe if they are serious about fixing the microtransaction situation, then RuneScape could actually get a lot better. But right now, until then, it's just kind of in this microtransaction limbo. Next, over at number 7, Overwatch 2. You know something has gone wrong when a game's player base wants to go back to loot boxes. Overwatch 1 had loot boxes, you know, a thing that we all hated and complained about, but it's so much better than the current model. At least back then you could possibly get a skin or something that you actually wanted. Now most of the cosmetics are real money only. Long gone are the days of the $10 cosmetic, which was absurd even back then, yes, but now we're getting completely worthless digital goods and skins that'll be gone forever when the game inevitably shuts down and the servers go offline that will cost you $40 US or more. And of course, Overwatch 2 is going the Destiny route of selling itself basically to the highest bidder with all these goofy crossover costumes that just feel really out of place in the world of Overwatch, like G.I. Joe and Cowboy Bebop. Look, I love both of those things, but I go to Overwatch and those characters for like their thing. I get some people dig it, but I don't know, it can kind of feel cheap. But it's gotten so bad that Blizzard thinks they're doing the player base a favor when they're robbing them blind. Like with a recent timed winter event where you could get some legendary costumes for $5. But if you wanted everything, then it was gonna cost closer to $35. There was literally not enough time in the event to get enough in-game currency to earn this stuff just by playing the game. And of course, they're not gonna just let you buy anything in the bundle individually, so it's all or nothing. Pay up, dude. The Overwatch 1 price model wasn't great, but people paid for a game and then could at least theoretically earn stuff from the loot box system. But now that Overwatch 2 has replaced the original game and that whole mess, all that type of stuff, that format is gone now. And even if you drop $60 on the game when it originally came out, you still have to pay up. Next at number 6, on June 10th, Rainbow Six Siege went sort of free to play with its big year 10 update, which brought about some big changes to the game. It also inevitably started to get stingy with the in-game currency. Usually going free to play is just developer speak for just, you know, going off the rails on the monetization stuff. Usually it doesn't take 10 years to do it. Obviously the sales of Siege must have dropped off years ago, but either way, they switched over to a mostly free model, and then players immediately started to feel the squeeze. The rate the game was giving out in-game currency dropped off a cliff, while at the same time, they introduced new Masterpiece level cosmetic bundles that cost $50 a pop. It used to be that you'd get a decent amount of renown every match, even if you lost, but now barely you get any. Like, to make up for that, they're doing daily rewards instead to encourage players to just log in all the time. You know, it's just meant to get them more connected to the game, which in turn might make them more likely to throw money by buying a weird skin. It's your average free-to-play Dark Patterns bullcrap, but it's unfortunate to see in Rainbow Six Siege or Siege X, a game that managed to go on for so long with a relatively stable monetization system and solid player base. Now it just looks like every other overpriced free-to-play junk out there. And it's unfortunate because Siege is still like a very unique game. There's nothing really quite else like it out there. The devs at least bumped up renown and experience gains after players complained. They did listen, but the overall earnings are still worse than before it went free to play as far as we can tell. Next at number 5, it seems like these monetization models in games just keep getting more and more expensive, but these games continue to somehow find success. It seems like no matter how much a game charges for skins, there is apparently someone out there willing to pay for it. Not so much with Apex Legends though, which lost about 40% of its revenue in 2024. It's not an unpopular game. In fact, it's still got a very big player base. It's one of the top 10 most played games on Xbox, but the problem is that people playing the game just aren't buying anything. Why? Well, there are a few reasons for it. Partially, it might be because the game is mostly played by the hardcore fan base who just don't care about microtransactions. It could very well be that the microtransactions themselves are just too damn expensive. I mean, just last year, Apex had that Final Fantasy crossover event, which had, I kid you not, $290 worth of microtransactions. The prices on these things are absurd, and Apex keeps running these types of things, but it seems like nobody is really buying them up. Look, I know some people buy it, but I think, like, I don't think in my right mind, like, a lot of people are really going for this stuff. Maybe it's the demographic of the player base, maybe the skins are just ugly, but either way, Apex seems like it's struggling to make revenue because of its terrible microtransactions. This has been a problem with the game for years. They keep pulling these stupid stunts, and every time more and more people just kind of give up on the game entirely. Or they just keep playing with their head down and not buying anything, which, you know what? Good on them. Next at number 4, originally there was this, Rocksmith, a 2014 guitar rhythm game that was more like a hardcore alternative to Rock Band. It was a little late to the party, but it was a game that a lot of people were a fan of. Unlike playing Guitar Hero or Rock Band endlessly, you could actually learn some guitar from Rocksmith, and that was really cool. The cash model was simple. You bought the game, there were DLC songs, just standard stuff. It wasn't cheap, exactly, but it worked for what the game was offering. So fast forward to 2024, and we've got Rocksmith Plus, a new free-to-play version of the original game. The concept isn't necessarily disastrous. I mean, these games live and breathe on DLC anyway, so I guess making a free version with a ton of DLC would make some degree of sense. Oh wait, there's no DLC. Instead, they're going with a subscription model. $20 a month. That's crazy. Like, that just seems like a really high price, and they didn't even stop there. This version of the game removed multiple features from the original, including arcade mode and all the minigames, and replaced them with nothing. The free version is not good, including maybe like 10 songs total, and the subscription isn't even that great, with a lot of like bad cover versions of songs instead of the real thing. It's an uncomplicated model, I'll give you that, they keep it simple, but that monthly price, that's a lot for a subscription. Like, that's more than Netflix. How many people are gonna pay that much for a slightly updated version of a game that's already 10 years old with a lot of the fun stuff stripped out? If SteamDB is anything to go by, then not that many. Now at number 3, I remember a time way back when all of World of Warcraft had was a subscription and expansions. Now, it's got everything you'd expect a modern game to have and a lot more, up to and including $90 mounts. In 2006, players were ready to go and burn down the Bethesda offices for daring to include cosmetic armor for $2.50. Remember horse armor? And now we've got people climbing over each other just to get a chance to spend nearly $100 on a mount in an MMO where you're already paying a subscription fee. To the whale's credit, this mount does include both access to the auction house and a mailbox, two things that are provided for free at every major hub city. So what I'm saying is it's still a massive waste of money, but it still does at least provide something, and it is big. No, that doesn't justify the price at all, man. World of Warcraft in general has been experimenting with these overpriced ticket items, and it's just never really good. And it doesn't make the game any better, and it just encourages players with less self-control than sense to be even more obsessed with the game. In terms of like other games on the list, World of Warcraft is not like a complete microtransaction hellscape. It's not like they're badgering you to spend money after every raid like in Destiny or something like that, but it is still noticeably a worse place than when it started. It's not like you're spending any less. The game still runs on subscriptions and expansions, but now there's all this worthless crap to buy on top of all that. Now at number 2, Disney Speedstorm. What started out as a fairly generous free-to-play racing game saw a slow and inevitable slide into being a full-on microtransaction wasteland, man. First, it launched as a PC title that mostly behaved like you'd expect, a Mario Kart-like game. But it switched to mobile, and then the menus got simplified. The tokens, which originally could only be earned in-game or obtained from the Founders Bundle, were made purchasable. Coins you earned naturally in the game were made harder to get. Rewards across the board were reduced. The season passes were split up with premium tracks costing real money now. Fewer things could be obtained using in-game currency, more things cost cold hard cash, and even earning in-game currency was getting more and more difficult. Players complained that the tokens they were earning in-game were essentially useless, and the developers responded by making tokens even more worthless. Eventually, they started splitting the season into not just 2 passes, but 3. So if you wanted everything, you now had to buy 3 golden passes. When the game originally launched, there was 1 pass, and you could buy it with in-game currency. Now there were 3, and the amount of content you got was only slightly more than with just 1, and you had to spend real-world cash to get them. That's not the worst of it. Like, just this year, they added an even more expensive mechanic to the Golden Pass with just flat-out blatant pay-to-win stuff that give you an enhanced version of racers with better nitro boosts. At this point, it's less of a game and more of just like a pay-to-win thing. It's a shame, because the idea was really cool, but Disney seems like they're kind of content with running it into the ground. Now at number 1, Star Citizen. Okay, go easy on us, Star Citizen fans, but it feels kind of absurd to say that this game is a microtransaction hellscape now, when we're talking about the game that in the past sold ship bundles for like tens of thousands of dollars. For ships that didn't even exist yet, you were spending the down payment on a house on what was the equivalent of like a digital IOU. How can it possibly get worse than that? Cloud Imperium Games have used just about every possible way to get some money out of the dedicated player base, but this year, it seems like even some fans of Star Citizen reached their breaking point. People may have accepted ships and ship insurance, but when Star Citizen came up with the bright idea for ship upgrades, that seems like that was a bridge too far. No longer intend to charge players for ships that weren't in a game yet or in a finished game yet. They were going to start selling ship upgrades for, frankly, absurd prices. 6 bomb racks for $45, cargo modules for $30, ship speed upgrades for $42 US. The idea was that these things could be bought with in-game money, but when they first launched, the only way to get them was using cold hard cash. Compared to overpriced ships, this might sound like a drop in the bucket, but the problem is that this new ship upgrade system completely undermines what a lot of fans liked from the individual ships. They each had their own strengths and weaknesses, at least in theory. Like, people knew what they were up against when they looked at another enemy ship. That's what made all these ships unique and what made people want to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on them. Now it seems like it's going to end up being a free-for-all where people willing to put up with the high prices will have an invisible advantage over other players. And if they're going to monetize something as basic as this, what's to stop them from monetizing literally everything else in a game? A game that, I might add, is in its 13th year of development and is still technically in alpha. There's more of a game than ever, but it's still in the works. And also, they've already asked so much from the player base financially. If they're going to charge for like stuff like this piecemeal stuff, like what are prices on things like furniture or actual cosmetics going to cost? Yeah, in comparison to the insane prices on some of the ships, these upgrades might not seem like much, but ships are seen as investments. These are 100% unvarnished, just microtransactions that should not cost real-world cash to obtain. Look, the Star Citizen community isn't a league of their own. They're incredibly unique. They're definitely willing to overlook a lot, but for many, the monetization of ship upgrades is one of the final straws. As of the time of writing this video, I don't know how this is all going to shake out, but we're just going to have to wait and see. The grand ambitions of Star Citizen are definitely still tantalizing, but it's just kind of getting messier in between. Anyway, those are 10 games that have kind of devolved into a boring microtransaction hellscape. Obviously, this is a spicy video, a negative video, so thanks for bearing with us on this one. But if you like this video, clicking the like button helps us out. Let us know your experience with these games down in the comments. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let us know. But as usual, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Hold on a little bit. Yep. Yep. I felt like something is off on the timing, and then yeah. I think it's because I kind of like change something. Oh, I think I forgot to kind of like just. Is it just turn black? Yep. I have totally forgot to turn on the transparency. Oh, I have to like work on it later on, I guess. Yeah, when I convert the file, I had to go to advanced and then like turn on transparency of this. I'll do that later. I'll do that later. What was I gonna do again? Oh, yes. Okay.
Let me run through everything. I just have some eyebrows set, but this looks like the proper mouth. Ina's eyes have a bit of blue in them, but they're predominantly a pretty light purple. So there's the mouth. Of course, she has elf ears, so I had to give those to her. She also has a mole. She's just like me, except mine is here, but on the other side. It's in the middle of my eye. But hers is on the end. I kind of like them right here. I feel like this is close enough. Okay. Oh, and of course, we cannot forget what sort of light is going to be best for Ina's eyes. She just has a single circular one. Like that.
Wow.
Now, one of my issues I'm having is with the hair. I actually think the way that it is now, I actually think using the natural hair here is going to be best. But there's some different options. Like, this would be the perfect Ina hair. Like, honestly, this would be the perfect if we were doing a regular me proportioned face. I even think we could probably go with this and then just draw the thing on her head and call it a day. The bangs are a little short, but I kind of think that has its own appeal. Like, this was just made for Ina. Okay. There we go. It looks like it's in the right place. She's got the lines above her eyes and then the shading above. And then she also has a little bit of dark on the like dark red on the corner of her eyes. Okay. I feel like that looks pretty good. It's not as dark as on Ina, but honestly, I think that's for the better. Okay, wait, sorry, we're not done. I wanted to admire my work. Now we need to attempt some ears. This is where it all falls apart. And we'll adjust them. And they're slightly darker than her regular hair. They look even enough. Okay. Ina! Do you know that Inanis is a Latin?
My name is Inanis.
In Latin, Inanis means empty, void.
This is why I didn't use that word.
My name is Inanis.
That was awkward.
My name is Inanis.
Ina.
My name is Inanis. My name is Inanis. It's nice to meet you.
Yeah. So this is all going to be my interpretation of Ina. She can be very energetic, but I generally view her as very chill. Very chill and kind of like more relaxed, you know? So that's why I'm going to extremes here. She's extremely polite. And overall, she's quirky. But not too quirky. Cute! She looks so cute! She looks so cute! Considerate buddy. Amicable, thoughtful, honest, innocent, does things at their own pace, trustworthy and considerate, puts her friends first, and works hard to make sure everyone gets along.
You're Demonic Empress Divine, right? It's nice to meet you. I'm Anise. I'm a considerate buddy. It warms my heart to see my friends having a good time. Anything I can do to help, I will. I hope we get along well.
Let's give her a rice ball.
Yum.
Eat something. Yum. Yum. She liked it. Okay.
Thank you. Now I feel more like myself. Wah.
Ina.
Hello.
What's up?
Got a sec?
Sure thing.
I'd like to try using slang from your world. Wah. Can you tell me a phrase that everyone's saying lately?
Let's see. Let's bring back the dead meme. Jid on my soul.
Jed on my soul.
Yeah.
Okay, not sure I can pull it off, but here goes. Jed on my soul. How'd I sound? Wah?
Kampeki desu.
Hello?
Yeah?
I've been thinking lately that Shiori and I could get to know each other better. Do you think Shiori and I would make a good team?
It is. It's called Tomodachi Life. It's a upgraded Switch version of it. Like back in the days, like 3D. I forgot is it on 3DS or just like DS. They have this game too. But straightly on in Japanese media only. I think like someone actually made like a ROM hack version of it, so like translated version, like ROM hack. People can play that too. Yeah, this is like the Switch version. This is like Switch 2 version of it.
Absolutely.
Really? Well, maybe there is something there. Wah?
What? Vibe. Just vibes with. Do you like meatballs?
Yum?
Yeah, I always think about the fact that Ina is the priestess of an eldritch horror, and then Shiori has forbidden knowledge, you know? So I feel like their potential, you know? Like, I feel like lore speaking, Shiori and Ina have a lot of really good lore potential to them. You know what I'm saying? You've reached level 29! Okay, let's see. Do I have everything here?
Ada. Hold on, I need to send this to my friends. I'm making like VTuber model for my friends. I have to design them in a way that is like suitable for turning into a VTuber model in the first place, because sometimes like they already have like an art design with them, but it's not exactly like easy to translate into like a VTuber model. So you have to kind of like work it a little bit around your way. Personally, I do rigging and drawing at the same time, so I draw it in a way that is like easy to rig for me. There are people who draw like those like universal art like design, so it's easy for another artist to make like a universal rigging pieces and then pass it to another rigger, and then they will rig it in a way that make the model like function normally. As you kind of already can notice, like my model itself is I made it myself. I want to make a 3.0 version of it, but it's been a while. Most of my model making and like my rigging technique is super old, like 3-year old at that point. So to do that, I have to like find a way to kind of like basically I need to find a few guinea pig and then make a few model first. Once I get used to it, I can like make the model that I wanted. So I choose two of technically I originally choose one of my friends to do it, but and the other one also learned about it. I was like, why not? More guinea pig for me. Besides, being a model papa is like it's across my mind before back in the days, but I know I'm not like the best of like rigger, so it's going to be a little bit difficult for me because I hate like doing rigging stuff because I know there's lots of way to like it's fun the process, but the problem is it eats up too many time. Like I say again, right now I'm doing it for free. It's not like I'm getting any money from it. That's one of the bigger issues too. To be honest, in many chances, I would really wish I have a lot of money so I can just do art for free for anyone I felt like it. I am the voice behind the model. kind of lit. But usually I don't like kind of show up wearing like this. I'm wearing my comfy clothes today. Usually I wear like nice clothes when I show myself. Like being a VTuber, good thing is like you actually don't have to give a shit about lighting and stuff, so you won't like blind the shit out of yourself when you want to like do drawings something like that. But 2D VTuber model have like one issues, okay? That issues is your character essentially closes eyes because like when I look down, see the camera can't exactly see my face. So it just automatically close my eyes. My back. Whew. But yeah, there's still like lots of things I have to like work with, yada yada things. I do wish I have like a better chance like to work on more work and work on more art. So if anyone is interested, okay, I'm doing like art commission stuff. Not VTuber related, I'm still not confident at that one yet, but the rest of the art related stuff that I have, and also my VGen. If you guys just want to flat out give me money, I'll be happy to. Basically, like, here's the thing, like, if you have like contractual stuff like happen to it, like anyone that likes my stream or anything like that, like chatters and everything, they just give me a lot of money. I essentially just going to give it out back to people. Because like I'm gonna spend it, obviously. Spend not at least I'm not like those kind of like idiot streamers that get so many money and then spend on buying a fucking Gucci bag for no reasons. I just only spend on buying practical stuff. I'm a very practical person. It's either I'm going to spend my time, like eat good food, and then afterward I will spend extra time to just like make free art and then pass it to people. It's kind of like my way to giving back to people. I often like love to do that shit too. But again, like if I do that, I would like spend lesser time to do a lot of other stuff. Like doing my art commissions, earning money, this and that, other stuff. Like main crux of the issues always is money, sadly. Like trust me on this particular thing, I will always tell everyone being kind and being giving is a privilege, okay? When you are not in a good environment and circumstances, being giving is not a thing. If you are broke and starving yourself, the fuck you can give to people? Smile. Aside from that, it doesn't really like have any other like substance to it, right? Like you have to have the privilege to have a good life yourself first before you can like be kind to other people and like do privilege, like being giving to other people. So this is why I will always tell people like kindness is a privilege. It's not like being evil is because you don't have that privilege. It's just that at least you would just have enough time to fend for yourself. still have work to do. I'm very tired. Man, there's still quite a lot of things to do. I have to work a lot. Well, since like in talking about this in the first place, show it off a little bit, I guess. Alright, I have finished up and created my... oh, not this one. My new YCH. Ta-da! My animated like transitions thingy. Like the YCH and pre-concept thing is always like really fun for me to make one, but not exactly a lot of people will want it. Is $80 for this is like too expensive? In originality, like if I really want to charge like proper pricing, this thing's supposed to be like around 180 or like just 200 pop, okay? If I need to charge like actual like animation pricing. But obviously I know a lot of VTuber and streamers, they are actually quite broke. I'm literally already preemptively discount something that is like supposed to be $200 to $80. If I charge $200, someone buys it, it literally can feed me off for a month. Not even kidding. That's a lot of money in my pocket. I guess I'm more or less like the kind of person that now is just like full on focus on like, you know, a lot of like either like animation or illustrations. There's a lot of things I do want to like focus and make. Okay, they all loved it. Yeah, making like a VTuber friendly design is always like take a lot of like more effort. Like Nino one is like I have to focus on the hair thingy because like she does wear a cap, so I need to make like a hairstyle that is like kind of like suitable for a cap. I'm trying to go for like the hairstyle like I hate to say this, like there's a beanie that she kind of like wear with like the like the bunny ear thingy going on there. Um, I'm like more or less hidden history of Kirei Vaku. Back in the days, I was like, why? I won't really say like those kind of like criminally gangster stuff, but I do stay in a crew. Okay. I don't look like it now. I used to be hot. Okay. But yeah, it's basically just a not exactly super delinquent. It's more like, you know, it's just a bunch of people just hang out there. Those kind of things happens, you know, and then yeah, my first crush is also there too. But either way, the at least like here's the thing, like she have like back then we just see as a quirk, but more and more I learn on like back in the days, like what she actually have is something called a fucking is like a call it like the penis envy. It's a condition, you can try to check it. Basically, she just want to become a man, like not just, but not because like gender identity issue stuff, but it's something like far worse than gender identity issues. It's more like she lived in like the those kind of like very traditional household that don't give shit to the girls, only focus on the boys in the household. So she developed like some sort of like some weird obsession of trying to be a boy. So yeah, that's a thing. That's a thing. But here comes the issues. She's actually extremely beautiful. And she tried her best to look as boyish as possible. She actually have like that. She actually like it makes it worse that she have like those kind of like mess. She also have like that like very messy, like wolf cut. If you guys don't know what wolf cut is basically like, you know, a little bit fluffier. Like she also have like a pretty like my hair is like super soft. You can kind of can see she have like the opposite of my hair. It's like much more like sturdier, but also it's not like usually people like with sturdy hair they have like those kind of like Maggie hair, not Maggie hair, like you know like curly hair, but she doesn't have it. It's pretty straight up, like it's like, you know, like those kind of bat hair. So she have like those kind of messy, like you might think like she is almost like a walk out anime characters. Okay, I hate to say this because like she is almost look like a walk out anime character. She technically have this hairstyle. But obviously it's like it's much more shorter here. Like she doesn't have like a end bang there. But yeah, so I figure out like this is kind of like a very good hairstyle for this for Nina too. Is because like she also tried to like, here's the thing, like I say again, she really tried to be a dude and try to blend in with the dude, and obviously again her face doesn't sell that part. It's like and if she look boyish it's fine, but she looked like a Victorian model. Super good genes. But either way, yeah. She also wear a beanie, and hence, like I say, like this is why it kind of like remind me. She since like Dino character also like wear the beanie too. So I was like, you know what? That it does remind me a lot about back in the days when I was still young. But yeah. I did met her back. I kind of everyone got this. The entire gang got distant for a very long time. It's just a bunch of rich kids, to be honest. I'm not the rich kid. I'm the poor kid in there that taking care by the rich kid. Like I say again, I have no idea. Like there's a lot of like weird affinity with a lot of people that, you know. I would say like I'm not a very good listener, but they want me to be their listener. And then I end up like always can go out eat expensive food and just sit there hearing them complain about their life. basically I'm just like the, you know, like the, I'm not actually a punching bag. It's more like an emotional punching bag. This is why, like, when there's people like complain to me right now, I will be like, boohoo, big deal. I heard so many stories at that point. I heard worst. Okay, but or in some sense, I would say I heard enough rich people issues. Yes, I heard enough rich people issues. But more or less, yeah. I hate to be that guy. I guess like this is why my stream always like have like that 1-2 guy is like trying to seek me out as a therapist or something like that. I guess it's just like my old profession, kind of like, you know, people can see it or something. But no, not actually a therapist. It's more like, you know, usually it's the group guy that everyone somehow keep wanting to stick with. Like not really like obsessed with it. I guess like it's just the way I kind of like present to people. Is like people always like lose their guard around me, and also like they just, when I say really into me, I'm not really means like romantic size of the thing. It's more like really want to be a good friend with me. Sometimes things like that. Back in the days, I was really cool. You know, I don't talk. You see, like you saw that like mode that I was like totally focused in, and then I was just don't say a fucking word. That was me. Back in the days, I really do not talk. Actually, even in real life, I'm quite a silent person. I don't talk a lot. And when I talk, I sound very pathetic, so I don't talk. So I developed a way to kind of like, even I just talk in a very minimum way. You know, it's like those kind of wise man haiku thingy. Haiku shit. No, there's no haiku involved, obviously. I'm shit at those things. But at least like just say straight to the point. Like I really want to go back to how I used to be, because like I used to be very smart, and then like I can say things in 2-3 words to summarize everything or solve people issues. Just like 2-3 sentences is fine. I don't even have to talk much. But when I study engineering, I kind of like talk to stupid people way too much. So I end up always have to like over explain everything, and it become a habit, and then I become super talkative afterward. But main reason is like a part of me just like talk a lot too. Maybe I always by nature talk a lot, but back in the days I decided not to talk that much. The reason is really hilarious. The reason is I want to act cool. Like the most childish thing in the world. Like, you know, like those kind of like anime with like cool, like silent characters. Yeah, I used to wanting to be like that, wish to be like that. So I actually don't say a single word a lot, most of the time. A lot of time. I literally just talk with like, you know, generally I just do a lot of hand gestures on a lot of things. This is why you guys like when you see me talking, I actually use my hand a lot. It's just again like another habit I used to have since when I talk a lot of things. And one of the reasons I do love like the fact that maybe one day I can try to have like a 3D model would be nice, because I am the kind of person who talk with his hand because of this. So like having the ability to like have like hand gestures for like a model is like really, really good. But man, 3D model is expensive, especially the 3D model that I wanted from like the girls that made like Zentrea model. Man, the 3D model is so good. Like she is like the only few people like I seen like the 3D model they made like so anime, and the simulations on like the how they rig like the hair, like the spiky part of the hair, really, really like realistic. I won't really say super realistic, at least like very anime feel on that particular part. So yeah. Yeah, this is like the art I made, like the very initial art. So I need to do a lot of changing after this. What time is it? It's already close to 5. I know I've been like start my stream a little bit late lately, and since I don't have a job, I went back to, like, when I say I don't have a job, I mean like commission stuff. Like, I went back to my usual focus on making video one day, and then like doing a stream another day, and focus on making video another day. Like, basically just go back to my leisure, like content making time. So yeah, looking forward for like the yapping video that I'm going to make, like, upload in the futures. Like, one of the reasons I kind of like stream late is because like the rendering actually took a lot more time than I thought, and I found a process of recording that is like I yesterday I spent like my entire day almost experiment on a lot of recording stuff, and I found a way to kind of record my things that can be transparent. But motherfucker, that thing like eats so much of my like data in my like storage. You can just look at this thing. This is 62 gig. 62 gig of recording. For how long? I didn't even I didn't even make it like that big of a size. It's only like the size of like the, you know, like phone thingy. And then this thing is like just 20 minutes. 20 minutes of recording. 60 gig. Holy shit. There is. Just that I kind of like stream in horizontal and like vertical in the same time. So like there are people on the horizontal side, there are people in the vertical side. So hi there, Frog from the vertical. So yeah, technically I already finished editing and everything. I can just delete this thing. It's eating up all my storage space. I have to delete that. And man, there's lots of times I would say like I already say like I'm very tired lots of time already, so I shouldn't just keep spamming I'm tired. But I am tired. Hey, who knows? Maybe someone can fuel me up with a little bit of pizza. I'm literally the kind of person that power up by gosh dang pizza. Like, what kind of like favorite pizza you guys have? For me, it's just by default. I'm the most basic bitch in the world. It's just like the cheesy crust pepperoni done with extra pepperoni and extra cheese. What is your ideal pizza? And then you can even say your second choice too. My second choice is just pizza with cheesy crust again, but with all kind of cheese on top. Just all kind of cheese. Every single possible cheese that the place that can put on it, let them put on it. I just want the cheese and the bread. As much cheese as possible. Decent choice. Depends on the other topping though. Just going to say like pineapple pizza is fine, but depends on you have like the tuna stuff in there or like just fruit. Just fruit is a little bit odd. I think like pineapple, olive, all those kind of things like mix into it. It kind of blend pretty well, but you need a lot more salty stuff like mix into it. It's like it's weird. A lot of people might think like sweet and like pineapple like put in there sweet and sour, but after like oven stuff happen, it's just acidic. So it's fine to put a lot of meat into the menu when you use pineapple as a topping, as a side topping or something like that. It can't be the main topping, sadly, because like if it's the main topping, it would just make the bread like super soggy. So not a good thing. Not when I say soggy, it's not like those soggy. I mean like the, how should I say, like the textures of like the bread is not that great. I did not know that because I never heard about it. Is it like an American thing or like Western thing? I don't know. I'm from Malaysia, so like most of my pizza knowledge is not actually that in depth, but at least I enjoy pizza a lot. But I can't really say I'm an expert. I never made a pizza in my life, but I eat a lot of pizza in my life. But sadly, Asia country, so we don't have like hyper like westernized like pizza. It's like hyper like Asianized like pizza too. So this is why I won't really like get like, you know, get freaked out by the pineapple on pizza. We'll literally put anything on pizza. There's durian pizza, there's like the sambal pizza, there's the nasi lemak pizza, like all those kind of things exist, okay? Like all the weird kind of pizza, have you never heard about it? That is basically Asian blend. I even eat curry pizza before. Man, the curry pizza is actually strangely very good. It doesn't taste spicy. It doesn't taste spicy, but it tastes sweet. Incredibly sweet with the curry chicken in it. Holy shit, it's good. And like normally like like people put like like those kind of like prego sauce on it or something like that. Like like the sauce they put on it. Like they use curry. Listen well, they use like very thick paste of curry. It's really, really good. Why, thank you. Yeah, I still got like a few things I do have to work on it too. It's like hold on. Shutter encoders. Yeah, I also like make animations for my like transition thingy, but I kind of like screwed it up. I forgot to I since it's the MOV file itself is like really big. So I have to do like a file transformations. Not transformation, conversions. I don't know. I made it myself because I'm so broke. I made it myself. Right now, I'm actually like want to make a 3.0 model for myself, but I kind of like my technique is kind of like 3 years old, so like I need to relearn a lot of stuff. I decided to like design a model for a friend, design and make a model for a friend, and then I have to like use her as a guinea pig. And then this is a second model I made for another friend. Basically, I just full on using them as a guinea pig. I have to finish drawing, make them kind of like VTuber friendly first. Like the way I can kind of like rig them. It really depends on how to do like a lot of like rigging animations too. You can try to watch. YouTube have a lot of like tutorial on teaching you how to do it. You can use like where I learn. You can learn from Yashino Art. You can learn from like a lot of different like VTuber exists right now. Yashino Art like tutorial, even though like you can find her older tutorial, she did make a newer one. I still follow her older one is because like it's pretty nice, it's pretty neat, but and she teach you like quite a lot of like the main basic of the things like one by one. So once you learn on it, you can kind of like just wing it yourself afterward. That's the good part of it. And then yeah, it's like this is the redesign of it. Like at first I create like this one to kind of be like really faithful to like the PNG tubers that my friend used. But here's the thing, is like you can see like the design is kind of like bland, you know? So I kind of like want to make it a little bit my style instead of like very like VTuber looking like. So I kind of like redesign a lot of things. Element, how the clothes is going to look like the facial shape, the ears, the hair. Doing lots of things, like even like the, you know, the clothes, like the inner like stocking stuff, like the arm stocking, the leg stocking, like the bikini style kind of like innerwear that you can see in here. And then the jacket, how I'm going to design the jacket, the pants. You can kind of say that, since like My Hero Academia like art style is back in like the 2000, like that's like a certain art style is like much more specifically in a certain era. It's like from the 2005 to 2010 era. But the 2005 to 2010 era, when you kind of think about it, you can't really remember a lot of anime from that era. Fairy Tail, Love Wiki, a lot of like even D Gray Man, a lot of like anime around that age. Most of the characters have like spiky hair, protagonist stuff, and then like they have a very unique look for the anime character style. But when it reached 2010, you know, once you kind of like reach like 2010, okay, tragedy strikes. SAO become a thing, and then the anime style have changed forever afterward, after SAO. Sadly, going to say this, like things is just slowly degrade and then just change how it entirely feels. And then everyone become like especially like male characters become like a default like Kirito's. That's the worst tragedy in the world. Congratulations for you, Death Note. Actually, speaking about Death Note, can I show this thing? For one thing, I do have a VGen. If you don't know what VGen is, okay, it's basically it's a platform for me to like people like buy commission from me. I don't do like model stuff, sadly, but I do a lot of illustrations. You need like your character design out, you can kind of like find me. Currently I have like this anime illustrations for like concept design kind of stuff, like with like facial expressions stuff on discount. Or you want to do like a try it out, like that's like a cheap version of it, try it out. This is the carving style. You know, carving style is a little bit different. Like this is like carving style. What carving style look like? Ooh, internet is slow. But yeah, this is one of my latest work. Still really proud of it. There's like illustration sections. I'd also do animations, and then this is what I said about like, hey, speaking about like Death Note, yes, does this scene will look very familiar for you if you watch enough Death Note afterward. I have this meme YCH, if anyone wanted it, they can like kind of like commission me to do it. I'm just making it high and higher quality, so you can see like this is like the first one I made. This is the second one I made. And then this is the third one I made. Like you can definitely see that the quality just jump up a lot. And then I have this one. I recently finished this thing. It's my transition stuff. I can transition to another scene this way. I make animation transitions. Yeah, I need to like re-render this thing a little bit because like I can transition now. Oh, yeah, the vertical doesn't... I haven't updated the vertical side yet, but yeah, essentially it's just like it cut off. I forgot to like render the alpha side of the things. So the animation itself look really janky because of it. If you guys ever want to like save up space on like the stuff that you do, like you do lots of video editing, you want to like save up some space, you can download this like open source software. Thank you. You can open this like open source software called like Shutter Encoder. Okay, it's free. You can convert any file. You can convert any file to anything you want. Video format, I mean. You can see sound format, video format, any other stuff. Like there's a lot of different kind of like form you can use. But, yep. Now you don't have to remember, just copy and paste into a notepad or something. For me, I have this like transparent video. Let me go find it first. Okay, I have this yeah, this one. A transparent MOV. Okay, I forgot to kind of like render it. But here's the thing. This is MOV file, so it's like 46 megabyte. 46 megabyte is really thick kind of file. Not megabyte. It's just going to call it MB. 46 MB. So it's a very like fat file. So in order not to like over bloated the file, every single time I load transitions, if the file is too big, it will lag. So when it lag, it kind of like messed up the transition. So I have to like convert it into a much more smaller file, but it also support the transparency in the first place. Not a lot of like transparency video file exist, except WebM format. Okay, that's like WebP format, WebM format. MOV file is like one of the only like encoders that actually like existing that is supporting like the transparency of the file. But here's the thing. You can use WebM, which doesn't really work for any like video editing software, but if you are going to use it for your OBS, or maybe like you're using Stream Element or Streamlab or something like that, and you need to put your own thing into it, you can actually like use a WebM format. This is it's called WebM, so it's because only browser can run it. Technically, specifically, only Chromium browsers. Okay, like Brave, like Google Chrome, and also like Windows Edge, like all those kind of things can open that kind of file only. So I went to the setting, enable the alpha channels, and then put in max quality, start functions. Holy crap, it's really hot today. Like Malaysia is like freaking oven at this point. I have my air conditioner on. It's like 25. Like I set it up to 25, but it doesn't feel like 25. Maybe it's the light or something. Oh, mine is the opposite. I'm literally living in the smack that middle of the equator line, so it's like super hot, always hot. At least it's not desert hot, but here's the thing, like the temperature doesn't really like go above the hottest place in the world, like the desert or like maybe just down under the Australia. So it doesn't even like get hotter than Australia. Australia can go for 40 Celsius, like 40 degrees Celsius, and in Malaysia's like even the max we can just go for like maybe like 36 to like 38. So compared to like temperature, like precise temperature wise, like Australia is hotter than our place, but Australian come to Malaysia's, they will say like this place is fucking hot. Because here's the thing, we do not just Malaysia is not just hot. Malaysia is humid. So try to think like in a very very like wet place, like Florida or something like that. But also like the hot sun is like fully exposed to the entire surface of like your country, 24/7. It heats up the air, not just the air, the water vapor in the human environment. So you will feel like your entire area has become like a fucking sauna. Australia can be hot, but dry hot, because everything is dried up already. The heat is so strong. In Malaysia, the reason it never hit like 40 degrees Celsius is because it's very humid. The water vapor keeps sapping the heat. The problem is, now we are in a very big ass like dense cubicle of like heated humid air. So things become like super hot. Just mainly because of that. Yeah, like depends on seasons. Like Australia is the opposite seasons of like the most of the like different side of the world, because like like top, like if there are summers, it's like winter on your side, and then like they are having winter, it's your gosh dang summer. It's like almost a completely different thing. Almost. Obviously there's still like some like similar conjunction timing, but it's a very different thing. When you are in the around like down under area, yeah, like that is like supposed to be like happening here and there. So this thing is done. I have to do a little bit like scene transition, see like it works or not. Okay. I need to flip the transition scene. Nope. It just go completely dark. Did I render this thing in dark? I think I accidentally rendered this thing in dark. Ada. I generally don't show my face that much, especially when I'm wearing my comfortable clothes. Like there are times that you kind of like have to like prepare yourself to like showing up in the screen. It's like being a VTuber is nicer because you don't need like lighting. You don't need to have like nice set of hair. You don't need to wear like the nice clothes. Those kind of things. But today I just feel fancy. I don't know why. I'm wearing like a Transformer, very old Transformer t-shirts. Yeah. Let me try to switch back again onto the different art scene. Yep, I think I accidentally rendered the wrong ass thing. That. I need to remake a little bit of things later on. Yeah, I'm talking about the horizontal side of the scene. I forgot to render the alpha transparency. I can see, but my TTS can't read it. I generally like don't have the ability to see the chat, so I have to like click onto some things that to be able to see it. The only thing I'm able to do it because like I can respond to people while I'm focusing on drawing or maybe focusing on playing games is because I actually got TTS on for myself. So when I draw halfway, someone want to talk to me, say hi or something like that, or like when I'm playing games, so I can hear them and I can immediately respond to them. It's much more easier that way. But I already finished like drawing most of the things. I just like trying to redesign my friend character model a little bit so I can like make a proper like VTuber model for them. So this one is going to be like erased, and then I'm going to draw a much more like my style of kind of like VTubers. This is my friend A, Nino. This is Korakuro. I kind of accidentally turned her either into a battle angel or, you know, have anyone watched like Pretty Cure? So I think I accidentally turned her into like some sort of like Pretty Cure OC. I don't watch My Hero Academia a long time ago, so like I don't really remember lots of characters. I kind of like read the manga before it you know, I read the manga before like it was like famous. And then I read it until like Sting kind of things like happening. No, not Sting. After like he have like the training arc with the old man. There's lots of Birdman in My Hero Academia, but either way, so like the manga kind of like stopped around there, so I kind of like wait until more episode to watch, but I kind of forgot about it, and then later on, the you know like later on like the what again, pop up as anime and then become like super popular. I have one issues when it comes to lots of things. Okay, I have like one issues like with a lot of things like the moment the things become famous or like super ultra mega popular for no, I won't really say for no reasons. It's more like everyone start to talk about it. I usually by default not watch it afterward. It's like I didn't watch Attack Titans. I didn't watch like Breaking Bad. I didn't watch Game of Thrones. I didn't watch a lot of like super hyper popular anime that exists, like Kimetsu no Yaiba. I read the manga, but when the anime become like super famous, I also like stop watching it. I have that super weird like things happen to me. I don't even know why. And also no spamming. I'm gonna give you like Mr. Wheeler. You have one warning. I have a 3-strike system: warning, timeout, and ban. So be careful on the spamming. Yeah, it's weird that YouTube decided to censor the word deaf. So no matter how much you want to type it out, like thank God I have the system that I can like read it myself. Like aside from that, like I can't. Yay! Well, technically it's almost ended. Now I'm just like sitting there like doing a little bit of chatting, just that. Yeah, you can say D note. Like here's the thing, YouTube, I literally do not have, like, here's the thing, I can even show you guys. Like, I pretty fine. Nah, not exactly face review or something like that. I always kind of like stream my face. Just like the past few days, I cut, like around the time you watch me, I didn't show my face because I got a really short haircut. My hair is not looking too good, so I just decided not to show my face for quite a while. Now it's kind of like, to be honest, I didn't have my hair set up. Like 2 days ago, a really bad lightning storm happened. Thank God it didn't kill my computers, but it did bust up one of my, like, ooh, wait, it's back again. Basically, one of my LED lamp that got busted up, and like the power plug in my toilet also got busted up. So I can't use my sort of like hair ironing stuff to kind of make my hair a little bit much more fluffier than usual, because like you can kind of like already see like my hair is like extremely soft. So it always like really stick to my scalp. If I don't do anything, if I appear with my face on, I'm basically just another Sinpachi looking anime characters. Okay? Like those like super NPC Sinpachi characters. If I painted my glass like white colors, I would be just call myself Sinpachi. Not Kenpachi, it's a different word. And also, I totally forgot about this particular thing. Like, hold on again. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Alright. Have a nice day. And I almost like closed down mine too. I am extremely hungry and famished. To the point I can actually eat 5 big pizza. Actually, my highest record on eating pizza back in the days when I was still like super young is 3 big pizza. I'm not even kidding. 3 big size pizza. And I looked super fit back in the days. Now I'm just like super fat. Sadly. Actually, I was like trying to like find like some of my older stream. I'm making a video about like why I always stream my drawing, because like again, like I like later on, like you guys can go to watch. You guys can like later on, like I will try to like set a schedule to post it like around like my 10 p.m. and stuff. Like basically it's like after 5 hours of this. You guys, like if it's like middle of the night for you guys, like you guys can watch it like tomorrow or something like that. It's basically me talking about like why I'm obsessively like have to stream my drawing. Again, it's because I used to be like accused as art thief before, so like it's because I stream my work, I can kind of like defend myself from that. So afterward become like a habit. So you guys want to like know like the whole story? I made like a story about that one. So basically I would do more like video format content as about like maybe just storytelling, or like maybe like weekly like vlog, something like that. I would do more stuff about that, and also like each 2 week I will like release a voidcast. And most likely case, okay, after the next week voidcast, I will also bring back like the Ace Attorney stream too. I need to do a lot of stuff. There's a lot of things I have to like fix up. Either way, it's already 5. As you guys kind of already know that. Too bad I kind of like didn't fix the thing in time. And I kind of forgot to like refresh the cache stuff to kind of like get back like the chat thingy. Like the chat has been empty for quite a long time. I kind of forgot about that. I've been through a few very nasty thunderstorm lately, so I have to keep turning off my computers and unplug it. But either way, it's already late night. Alright guys, as always, stay healthy, stay safe. Until next time, stay tuned on the next stream. Technically tomorrow I won't be streaming, the next day afterward. Yep. Alright then. Bye bye.